Welcome along to the Export Beer Garden studio for another episode of the ACC's Mad Monday podcast, your number one rugby league podcast, brought to you by the great New Zealanders at 4 and 20 Pies. My name is Chris Key, a.k.a. Adam Whanua-Keezy. Joining me on the potty today, Manaia Stewart, a.k.a. Tino Fa'asua. Manaia, how are you?
Filled with pride, filled with joy. This was our year. It remains our year, despite the fact that we will not be playing in the grand final. I think that, as Webby said this week, we've got so much to build on, and I'm quite proud of the Warriors' efforts on the weekend.
So, sorry, did you say this was our year?
Well, this was our year, but I'm also hearing, and I know it's early doors,
right?
Next year.
Really?
That's what they're saying.
Far out, you're joking.
That's what they're saying.
Oh my God. I'm hearing the same thing, so it must be true. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Tell you what, let's rip straight into things, shall we? The final Warriors game for 2023, a valiant effort against the Broncos, but ultimately falling 42 points to 12.
They have to go left now. No, they go right.
Johnson! Chance! And DWD scores! It's absolute chaos! 4 minutes and 10 seconds in the soul glow, the beautiful locks of talent. Watene Zelezniak scores, Manaia. In the second 20 of that night's game. Reece Welsh! Dylan's up! He's winning! Go, boy! Go! Yes! Dylan Watene Zelezniak! Did you have it for one try? I hope so. Did you have it for two tries? Then boom time, baby! Sean Johnson, he finds the gaps to Marty Martin, to Adam Pompey. Pompey gives it to Montoya, who scores in the corner. Who's back? The Warriors are back. There's 11 minutes to play.
Doesn't quite make touch. I think he wanted a bit of a breather there.
And Dylan Walker upends Reece Walsh. And the Warriors got hard yards to do here. Reminds me of being at the school ball when you just had no game, eh? And you're just coming out raw. As Reece Walsh finds some space again. That ball was forward by a mile.
Throw another one.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. One of the most ridiculous calls of this season. But at the end of the day, Manaia, I know the ref shafted us, but we lost by 30. So that's bollocks.
Let's start on the forward pass then, because that is the biggest story from the game. And I know that the media are going to come out, and they have done this week, and they said, look, sure, they missed a forward pass. You guys got towed up by 42 to 12.
Yeah.
But let me remind you, at that time, it was 24 to 12. Now, we missed 3 kicks. Sean Johnson wasn't kicking. So that could just as easily have been 18 to 24. Now you take that forward pass away, Jackson Ford scores down the other end, all of a sudden it's a tight ball game. So you can't say, and it felt like this at the time, me and Di said it on the call, that is a huge turning point. To go from 24-12, which is still a game, two converted tries and we're back in it, all of a sudden to 30 to 12, that's a very, very different equation.
I agree. However, whenever it comes to the refs argument, lately my thing's been when the Warriors are playing well, the refs don't come into it, you know what I mean? But with this particular thing, it was also the things that happened around it. We lost Wade Egan to an HIA.
Yes.
Dylan Walker was already off the field for an HIA, and then that forward pass happened. Do you think the forward pass, you know how it's just on-field call and that's it? I think that needs to be looked at.
100%.
There needs to be something.
That's ridiculous. If you can come back and check if someone was offside, if you can come back and check for a high shot, they come back and pull it up for something that the ref wasn't even going upstairs for.
That's right.
But for whatever reason, they've decided it can't be a forward
Well, it's because it's taking into account human judgment on something rather than a...
So then why have the bunker? Like if that's the thing, like human judgment has been the reason that the bunker exists, is because humans get the judgment wrong.
That's right.
That one was particularly egregious. Like I remember at the start of the season they were saying, do we put microchips in the ball, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, well, all of a sudden you're going to find out that 90% of the passes are forward.
Well, because they will be. The flat ones are all forward, yes.
But this one was egregious. Like if it was only as flat as, there were 2 forward passes in that one phase of play.
The second one wasn't anywhere near as bad.
No, and if you want to say they got away with that one, fine. That first one, I said it again on the commentary, there are 2 men who stand on the side of the field, and they wear the same shit that the refs got on. They hold flags, looks pretty camp, but their job is to decide, one, if the ball went out, or two, if someone threw a forward pass. Between the two of them and the guy with the whistle and the guy in the bunker, none of them could figure it out.
That's right. I don't know if the bunker has the ability to stop play and say, hey, that was a forward pass. Maybe that's the way you do it, but then you've got the bunker making calls and stuff happening.
I think on a scoring action, the bunker should be allowed to say, okay, no, there wasn't whatever, they actually went up for.
Yeah.
But there was a forward pass.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? I don't think they should be able to interject with the game and be like, hang on, you missed a forward pass back there. But if a try hinges on it, within that play, I don't think you should be able to go back 3 or 4 tackles and find something.
Within that one play, yes.
Within that one play, and he would have found 2. More egregious than both of those, though, and this is something that I think if it had happened earlier in the season, this player would have got about 4 weeks for it, was Selwyn Throbo at the start of the game taking out Chance without the ball. He was nowhere near, the ball was still 10 metres up in the air, and he just straight up tackled. He never looked at the ball. It was, if Chance had jumped up into the air, he would have, I feel like Throbo should have got like months.
And that's one thing I have noticed as well, because as we'll get to later, the Melbourne Storm game, the fact that Nelson Asafa-Solomona wasn't sent off at any point as well. It's obviously something they do in the finals, is they give you a bit more leeway for shit.
And I think that they were aware of it. I think Kevy Walters would have gone, all right, first kick, hang one up there, Reynolds, and you just clean out whoever's going to catch it and just send a message. Because that's exactly what I'd do as a coach. I'd be like, we're going to fuck this first dude up. We're going to see whether the refs are calling this.
Yeah.
And if they're not, keep going until they do.
Yeah.
And just send a message, because that would have rattled Chance. I mean, he was excellent and didn't make another error, or didn't make an error.
Well, he barely makes errors, full stop. He's been so bloody good for us all season. I agree with you about the turning point in the game. There was about 5 minutes there where the energy was just sucked out of all the Warriors fans and the Warriors side too. It all happened at once.
Yeah.
It was a demoraliser. And considering the start of the game, 4 tries in the first 16 minutes
Ridiculous.
or something. Dallin dotting down first through a genuinely slick right side play. We've been seeing it all year. And I actually had money on Dyer losing his voice after 5 minutes, and he pretty much did.
After that first try, I was like, oh God, I'm going to be commentating this by myself.
He goes hard out and then realises, and then has to sort of run at about 70% for the rest of the commentary.
Yeah,
full credit to him.
Scrambling to try and get him a glass of water.
Yeah, exactly. But that try was just perfect setup. And then Dallin taking the intercept off Reece Walsh, because if that ball had gone to Jesse Arthurs, that would have been another line break. The way we came out and we started, and then the try on the left side too for Marcelo Montoya, it was a slick move. And that is what the Panthers did to the Storm, is their right and left side, doesn't matter which way they're going, they can string moves together and score through Taruva or To'o. I was stoked to see that at the start out the gates.
On attack, we looked great. We just didn't get down there. We got run off the park. There was obviously that 10, 15-minute period where they ran in a few tries. That was in that hectic sort of first half. But where they really beat us was the offload game. Payne-Haas and Carrigan, I feel like, I thought this was just opportunistic from them. I talked to my dad about the game, had to have the debrief, the weekly dad debrief. He was like, hats off to Kevy Walters, who has obviously said to them, hey, come out here and just go offloads. Their defense is good, and the way that we can exploit it is go into contact if you can free up an arm. And Reece Walsh was there every single time. That's why it looked like Reece Walsh was tearing us up. And he was.
Oh, he was. He definitely was. Paddy Carrigan had 4 offloads. Haas had 3. Flegler had 4.
Yeah.
So all your front rowers there, or your middlemen, just absolutely offloading up a Storm. Even Reece had 2 offloads. One went to Payne-Haas, who ran 40 metres.
Yes.
That was,
he got off Payne-Haas from another offload.
That's right.
So all of a sudden we're defending against these, like that Payne-Haas one is a clear example of the impact of these offloads, because Reece Walsh got an offload back to Payne-Haas, which was the second offload of that set. Our dudes had already turned around to get back on side for the next set.
That's right.
Or the next tackle. Well, all of a sudden, Reece Walsh is coming at you, shot out of a cannon. You've got to turn around, then try and catch him. They catch him. He turns around, passes it to Payne-Haas. And I think everyone on the field was like, the fuck? Because he looked up, and all of a sudden, he had 30 metres of open grass in front of him, and he ran the entire distance. I don't think he thought he was going to get that far.
Shit, no.
Everyone on the field was looking at him like, eh?
His eyes were closed, bracing for contact. And then he opened them, and there was no one there. And that led to, I think, 2 passes later, and Jesse Arthurs was scoring in the corner.
Yeah, because they flicked it off to Ezra Mam, who also had a field day against us, because that's his game, is broken play, capitalising on big, slow forwards.
So just quickly, 1 try assist from Sal and Cobbo, 1 from Kurt Capewell. Kurt Capewell also had a line break assist. Shout out to him. 1 line break assist from Ezra Mam. 6 line break assists and 3 try assists from Reece Walsh alone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hate his guts, but he is incredible. What is he, 12? Piece of shit. Honestly, he's such a good player.
Yeah.
And the way and I know you hate...
A touch of the blue eyes about him.
Yeah, sure.
He's got the blue eyes.
At least he's a genuine... Like, there was one gap which went back inside to Billy Walters' second try. He came through. There was just a sneaky little gap that I think only him and maybe Pappenhausen...
Ponga?
Yeah, Ponga. Like, Ponga's got the explosive pace, actually. It's that... He catches the ball and the defence is ready, but he's already gone. That's the difference with him and Pappenhausen and probably Ponga as well.
Yeah.
Only those 3 players could have got through that gap. He did, and he just tore us to shreds, passed it back inside. When I look at the trajectory of what his career is going to be like, I get real pissed off.
He's going to be glorious. He's going to have an off-field incident this very summer and never play NRL again.
He's probably doing it right now. It's Monday.
Well, so this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. Was what is the Warriors' Mad Monday plan?
Have you
heard anything?
Well, what I'm hearing, and I've got my ear close to the ground on this one, is that it'll be the same as they usually do. Everyone ushered into vans out to the middle of nowhere, off the grid, 0 dark 30, bubblers till apparently
bubblers at dawn.
Bubblers at dawn. Apparently, Mad Monday's a 3-day affair.
Yep.
Starts on the Sunday, ends on the Tuesday. That's what I've heard.
I mean, to be fair, it started Saturday night. Like, if you're one of those Warriors players...
Well, they landed last night at 5 o'clock, though.
Yeah.
So you reckon they were all howdang years on the flight?
I'd hope so. I would hope so.
Yeah, I'd hope so too.
Because what would you do if you just played NRL for 28 weeks straight, 29 weeks straight?
I'd probably go full Munster straight after the game on it, land the plane Tuesday.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You're not going to be like, hold on, bro, I'm just going to get a good night's sleep because I know we've got a big day tomorrow.
I don't want to be jet lagged.
Yeah.
What is it, a 3-hour flight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go full Valentine Holmes, into it, up the guts.
You guys have a couple of quiets, but I'm going to turn in.
Yeah. I'll be straight on WhatsApp sending photos of me with the gear ready to go,
hell
man.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. They deserve it. They'll be right in the thick of it right now. Just as you're listening to it, picture half of the team doing a bubbler right now because that's what's happening.
Hell yeah.
So good.
I'm lost in it.
But Manaia, in terms of a final game for what has been a pretty it's been nothing short of exceptional this 2023 Warriors season. From where I had them, honestly, at the beginning of the season, I was like 15th, 16th, 17th, based on my vibe of the team, based on the signings and how they went last year. And then for Andrew Webster to come in and just flip everything around. And now next year I'm thinking top 4 finish again, baby.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I'm the same. The start of this year, I thought top 4 finish knocked out in the prelims against the Broncos.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I was thinking. But I just, I don't know, it's just been such a fever dream this entire season. I've been saying it all season. The biggest change has been the way the Australian media talk about us. Going into the finals, they were saying, well, the Warriors probably aren't quite up to scratch to go up against those top 2 teams. When was the last time anyone talked about a Warriors team like that? I don't even think in 2011 when we made the grand final they were talking about us like that. For them to be like, well, do they have what it takes to take out the Panthers? No, can you imagine that in the last 5 years? Anyone saying, do they have what it takes to take out the Panthers? They're like,
no, you're right.
No, what a gritty team. They mean so much to the country, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's a real testament to, and one thing I noticed that the Broncos and the Panthers, and to be fair, the Warriors have in common is you look across the park and there are no holes in our team, I don't think. I think there are, they've gotten a lot better. Pompey has gotten a lot better, but I still think, he made a pretty crucial error, got sin-binned as well, pretty close to that turning point, which meant it was pretty much...
He did. Katoni Staggs did the same thing down the other end and he got away with it.
Just sucked the ref's feet and he let him off. And so there are, across the board, you look at the Panthers, you look at the Broncos. I can't circle a player and say that's a weakness right there.
Nah, and that's what we were saying going into this game is the difference between the Knights, who we pasted, to the Broncos, is the Broncos have all of the same strengths that the Knights had, but none of the weaknesses.
That's right.
Their centres are excellent, their wingers are excellent, their forward pack is monstrous, and it was the forward pack that laid the platform against us. But back to the Warriors season, it's the groundswell around it. In 2018, when we made it into the playoffs for the last time, we went on like a 6-game winning streak.
That's right.
I'd gone to every home game. And when people started showing up, dudes were holding signs, where did all the fans come from?
I love that dude.
Yeah. The groundswell really started picking up, but it picked up on game day. This year, it has been absolutely everywhere. Everyone's yelling up the wires to the point where it's gone through the cycle of this is cool, now it's corny, now it's cool again, now it's corny, now it's cool again.
I still don't know where it is at the moment, but I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, 100%. So, but it's just the way that it's taken on a life of its own.
But full credit, the reason it's taken on a life of its own and it's been happening away from the field is the performances the Warriors have been putting on have been the performances of a really well-trained, well-oiled machine. That's the difference. We're not like scoring with drop goals at the last minute to beat someone that we shouldn't have. Yeah. We're like beating everyone properly.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference.
Yeah, and it's not Rasley, it's not fluky like the Warriors of old have been, where it's like they're going to throw some schoolyard bullshit and they might beat you by 30, but they might also lose more often than they don't.
Exactly.
I think that what Webster's been saying about this being a massive platform for us to build on, you look at the team next year, it's all the same players again. It's
a few extras.
RTS, Chanel Harris-Tavita. The glaring omission from our team that we really need to bulk up is a proper full-time prop. We need another starting caliber. Mitch Barnett did brilliantly, but I think he's a second rower.
He is a really good second rower.
And a dear friend of mine, as is Bunty. But Bunty's...
Are we going to post those photos, by the way? We've got photos of me, you, Bunty, and Mitch and Marata. We literally haven't posted them.
Yeah, I was just looking at them last night, actually. Yeah,
yeah, let's collab on that shit.
But yeah, so you look at our team on paper, there's no reason it can't be better next year. Obviously, the team love Webby. Sean Johnson made a point of celebrating him after the game in the locker room. The team, the country are behind them. And I think that if you're like a young up-and-coming throbber, it's now a legitimate opportunity to, go and play for the Warriors, where I think for the longest time, if you were like a high school star, you're either going to go and play for the Melbourne Storm, like Nelson Asafa-Solomona, or you're going to go play for the Crusaders. So I think that what they're doing now is laying a platform for hopefully continued success over the next 5 years.
That's a really good point, because the weakness of the Warriors has always been attracting stars.
Yeah, that's why it's bullshit when they say there should be a second team in New Zealand to grow the game. Well, there's been a team in here for 25 years. It hasn't helped grow the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all our best players still get poached.
Yes.
And that is because for the longest time, it's been a pretty average team to come to. But also, if we have continued success for a couple of years, now if you find an Australian, star player, it's way easier to lure them over here because none of them want to move to Auckland.
But what they do see is the amount of Wars fans at that Broncos game. Yep. They see how the fans react to them playing at home. All of a sudden, it's not, I don't want to play for the Warriors. It's like, wow, I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah,
something magic is happening.
Imagine running out with the smoke machine and the lasers are going.
Oh, my God. See, that's the stuff dreams are made of. Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe we are officially becoming more sort of, like, we'll never get a guy like a Tommy Turb, well, not that we want him because he's broken down, but like, that caliber of player who's born in Australia, maybe we're finally becoming almost appealing enough to attract a player like that.
I think it will become cool. I mean, it already sort of has been for Kiwi players like Tohu, like Adam, who have like made a name for themselves and played on some pretty good teams to then come back and sort of, well, not retire, but, spend at the end of their career. Isaac Luke, when he came back, all this kind of stuff. I think we're going to see more and more of that. Yep. Like, could a Jerome Hughes think about coming back?
Oh, my God, I love Jerome Hughes. He would be so good.
James Fisher-Harris.
I would love that.
Jordan Ricky. Like, there's all these different dudes who...
Well, Jordan Ricky would be good. He's a young Scucks dude from Christchurch. Imagine that. Have him for 10 years in the Wires.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, for the longest time, we haven't been able to compete with these glamour clubs. But if we have 3 or 4 years of success, and success is making the top 8, making the top 4.
And also Warriors' success, which is just so much excitement around it. And,
It's
mix all that in together, that is one hell of a sort of, hey, come work for us type setup.
And I'm not just blowing smoke because I'm on the Mad Monday podcast and that's what we do, which is, let's be fair, what we do. I genuinely feel excited about the next few years. That's why I didn't feel disappointed. People were commiserating with me when I walked into the office today. I was just like, oh, fuck that, I'm stoked.
This is the start of something new. This is great. The start of something new. You know the words to that, eh?
No.
What's it from?
I don't know.
High School Musical. Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, is there not a lot of crossover with Rugby League and High School Musical? Is there? Disney Productions.
No, I'll check it out though.
Cheers, bro.
I don't, but like I said, I feel great. Everyone, the people that are gutted are bandwagoners who jumped on. And like, I'm not shitting on the bandwagoners.
No, welcome aboard.
Happy to have you. But they were the ones who talked themselves into, fuck, we're going to go the whole way, we're going to win the whole thing. And obviously,
that's right.
We all want them to do that, but...
They're short-term happiness people, whereas we're long-term, big-picture Warriors happiness. Yeah, you know what I mean? And the picture's looking good.
Long-term, big-picture sufferers from way back.
Exactly.
And so when you have that success, it just feels so much sweeter than just, the Roosters winning another title.
Ugh, they were shit this year, by the way, which is so good. Well,
Shame.
Manaia, we could sit here and wax lyrical on the Wars all afternoon, but we must move on to another game. Unless you got anything else that you'd like to say about the Wars?
I mean, I've got so much, but people don't have all day to listen to this.
Yeah.
Stop me in the street.
Stop him in the street or flick him a message on Instagram. Have you changed your handle yet?
No.
At Manacas. He's having issues. Just FYI, if you see Manaia in the street, don't call him Mana. He's changing his handle because people keep calling him, thinking his name's Mana.
I've had about 3 or 4 people. I've met them and they've called me Mana to my face because my Instagram's Manacas, which is a nickname that I had years ago, and I just feel like my name's hard enough for people to remember. I need to do myself a few more favours.
Chuck an NZ on the end of
Change
it.
it to Manaia Stewart _NZ.
Mine's not underscore. Mine's Chris Key NZ, just all together. Manaia Stewart NZ. There you go.
Sweet.
Shot, Mana. All right, time now for the stonker of the round. And it was it was the only other game of the round, wasn't it? It was the Panthers absolutely crucifying the Storm, 38 points to 4.
They've won back the field position battle here. Penrith through the hands, top, in the corner. Munster, out to Meany, and out to Justin Olam. He stands them up and scores. He goes straight through. Nelson took Cleary out late. He's stripped again here. Tangor and top try. Patella's been busy in defence also. Kenny and Cleary around the back. It's a try. Zaj and Martin into the clear. Martin with an offload. Cleary's there. Oh, Crichton. Spectacular backhander. Edwards on the back up. He's going to sprint away and get another one. Nathan Cleary. Through the hands. A hat-trick for To'o. Spectacular. What a try.
Yes, a pretty clinical performance, you must say. The Panthers getting the job done over the Storm. Just looking here, 38 to 4, and then the Warriors 42 to 12. It's got to be one of the highest scoring ever preliminary. That was 2 massive pantsings.
Couple of blowouts there.
Yeah.
This one, and not just sour grapes, but this one was comprehensive as well.
Oh, massively. Whether the Storm won that last final or the Roosters, it did not matter. They were going to get slaughtered.
The Panthers just look, I don't know, they look like a juggernaut. It looks, they make teams, I mean, the Storm looked pretty average. They lost a lot of dudes. Pappenhausen back in, Pappenhausen back out.
Their forward pack is a lot. They've got heaps of random dudes. I have to double check their names.
Tui Kamika-Mitha's starting for them.
Tui Kamika-Mitha, yes.
Now, he's jacked. He looks like an Easter Island statue. And he sounds like Kamehameha, which is sick. But
but you need more than that.
Yeah, you need a bit more than that.
You're going to need more than that and some sensu beans to get the job done against the Panthers. They're also, one area they're lacking too is their centres and their backline is so outside of, obviously you got Grant, Munster, Hughes, excellent. You've also got Warbrick, who's a really promising player on one wing.
Yep.
Who's on the other? Coates was on the other wing.
Yep.
Now they've got the likes of young Tanamoipea in the centres, Marion Seve, Justin Olam, who's been way off his game.
Yeah.
They have really got to make some big signings in the back line to replace those guys and really shore themselves up, and also to replace the likes of the Kafusis and the Bromwiches, and they're really missing all those guys.
Have a think about the guys that they've lost in the last couple of years. Since the Panthers have started going on this run, the Melbourne Storm have lost, I don't know if you've heard one, Cameron Smith.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, obviously Pappenhausen. Let's not forget.
Sorry, did you say Pappenhausen?
Yeah, they got Pappenhausen.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's because it happened twice, so you add a D to it. Yeah,
he did too.
It's a Dutch last name. Nico Hines.
Yeah, Nico Hines.
Let's
that's
not
right.
forget that.
Reserve fullback Nico Hines.
Kafusi, both Bromwiches.
Yeah.
Christian Welch, who I think came off the bench for this game. And what's our man who's now at the Bulldogs? No, Sharks. He wears the headgear. I don't know. I can't remember his bloody name.
Dale Finucane.
Dale Finucane,
Yeah, Dale.
So they've lost all of these dudes. They lost Wairangi Korpu in the mid-2010s. So you add all of that stuff up.
It's a massive toll to take, isn't it?
It is a massive toll to take. Having said all of that, I think that they were the weakest team in the top 4, despite us finishing 4th.
Easily, yes, they were.
Yeah, and I think that showed on the weekend as well. Not to compare their, but I will. Performance against ours. They only scored once.
And it was a pathetic tackle from Tangor who let Olam through. It was just a one-on-one miss.
Yeah. In Justin Olam's defence, and I know everyone's saying this week, it's because Pappenhausen's been away this year.
Totally.
Like, he hasn't been getting the same sort of pill out that side.
And they don't have to worry about Meany the way they have to worry about Pappenhausen.
That's right, yeah.
So they can concentrate on Olam.
So I don't think that Olam as a player has fallen off a cliff. I just think that his role was completely different this year than it had been, like particularly last year when he was, out the gate. Seve had a tortured one. I was looking at it and he made a couple of mistakes and you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah, he's like Seve is like, and I think even Olam, but not this bad, is a Wonga Blake type player where when they're on, holy shit, hat trick, bump and tackles, but they've got a lot of errors in them.
Yeah, and I just think the moment was a bit too big for him. But I don't know. Can
I just say, one of the most embarrassing performances I have ever seen from any player, Nelson Asafa-Solomona.
Why?
He was, like, obviously Bellamy's like, get out there and show them who's boss, right?
Yeah.
And so I documented his, I've written here, shout out to Nas for possibly the dumbest game of footy I've seen since Caden Evans. So at the very start, there was a fight that started up. It was breaking up. Everyone's letting go of the collars.
Yes.
He comes in and starts it up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, man. 10 minutes later, did you see the really late shot he did on Cleary?
Yes.
Hugely late, dumb shit, where people have been binned for that all year, and he didn't get binned because it was a final. And then he, Tango pushed him as he was getting up, like, what are you doing, man? And then he stood up, grabbed Tango, and then fell back onto the ground.
Yeah.
Pulled him down, started another fight. No card again. Then Josh King put a massive late and high shot on Nathan Cleary, made his face bleed. As Cleary has put the ball down and is walking towards the trainer to get seen to, Nas comes in and shoulders him in the face where he's bleeding. And Cleary literally pushes him away and is shaking his head like, what is this guy up to?
What are you doing there?
Yeah, I mean, he's like 7 foot tall. He's massive.
Yeah.
Do what James Fisher-Harris was doing. Do what Moses Leota with the big mota was doing. They were running it straight all night.
Yeah.
100%. Giving it their all. Whereas he's putting all his energy into being a real punisher.
Yeah, save that shit for outside the nightclubs in Bali.
Oh, bro, exactly. Yeah, totally, exactly.
That's your outlet for doing that stuff. Go and punch on with the locals over in Indonesia.
Yeah, go to a day for feeder.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a Magoo, but I think I'd still love him to have him in the Warriors.
Oh, yeah. So someone just needs to say, Nas, you're a gifted athlete. Can you just concentrate on that and not be a punisher?
I do wonder if it was a bit of, like you say, the finals, the good coaches know that you might as well push it. The refs can't call everything. And our only shot at winning this is if we really get Cleary off his game. But unfortunately, it's what makes Cleary one of the greats of our game.
Good luck getting him off his game. He doesn't give a shit.
You can't get him off his game. No, he doesn't. You're right. That was a shocker from Nas. So let's move on to the preview then. So we've just talked about both teams and overwhelming performances against us and against Melbourne. Who do you see winning this grand final?
This is what's great about it, and it's kind of a really weak silver lining on the whole Warriors losing thing, is that we are now set up for the two teams who have been dominant all season to go head to head. I mean, either way, I'm not that stoked. I don't like the Broncos winning.
No.
I don't want the Panthers to win.
No.
So either way, I'm going to be slightly annoyed, but these are two teams who are just at the peak of their powers. I'd like to see an upset. I don't want Luai to have another win next to his name, but I don't want Reece Walsh to have one next to his name.
No, I definitely don't.
So, I mean, pick who's the bigger F. Who do you hate more out of those two? Probably Luai still, eh?
Oh, it's definitely Luai.
Yeah.
But he's already won 2, so
You want to share it around?
No, one more, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to make me hate him anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Reece Walsh winning one would really, really piss me off. And the other thing is, if the Broncos lose this, the story of this season was Panthers' excellence again. The Broncos will be forgotten to the sands of history, just like our season probably will be by the Australians, not by us.
No, shit, no.
But if the Broncos win, then all next year we have to deal with, well, they won last year, they're the powerhouse, are they the ones to beat this year?
Yeah, and let's not forget the Broncos have had about 1,000 home games to start the season. Remember, they were playing away during Magic Round at Suncorp.
So they had every opportunity to get up momentum.
Yeah.
But they're going to fall. They will be the Eels of last year. Was it the Eels?
The Eels, who were in the final, now are useless.
The South Sydney Rabbitohs from a couple of years before that.
Yeah, true.
Remember when the Canberra Raiders made a grand final against the Storm?
Probably shouldn't have, but yeah.
So they're going to be turned into those sort of teams.
You don't think they'll hang around?
No, I'm not saying they won't hang around. I'm just saying no one talked about Souths the year after they made the final. No one talked about the Eels the year after they made the final. It would only be every now and then that a commentator would be like, don't forget last year's grand finalists.
And I'd be like, oh, yeah, it was the Eels.
Exactly.
That's right. What the hell?
That's the fate that I want for the Broncos.
Right, okay. You want to banish them.
I want to banish them to the annals of history.
I mean, I I love both teams on paper. I think the way they've built both of their sides, they've both kind of got weaknesses in the hooking role with Mitch Kenny for the Panthers and then Billy Walters. But outside of that, on paper, both teams are pretty damn excellent. Yeah. It's a pure coin toss for me, and I think the thing that will do it is, although having said that, like Carrigan, Haas, and like Reece Walsh, they've all played Origin. They've got Adam Reynolds now, who's so experienced. He's like the second most points scored in a final, in finals full stop.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos have enough experience that the big moment won't overwhelm them. However, I think the Panthers have just got so much experience.
And as a team, the Panthers do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there are, like you say, there are individuals in that team. And actually, we had that too. We got Dylan Walker and we got AFB and we got SJ and all these different dudes who have played finals, won comps, all this kind of stuff. But they hadn't done it as a team, and I think that's going to be the difference between the Panthers and the Broncos.
So you're going Panthers?
I'm going Panthers, yeah.
Close game, though?
I think it's going to be tense.
I think the Panthers could win this and win it by a lot, purely because once they are rolling, they are so hard to stop.
13 plus, you reckon?
Maybe, yeah. I'm thinking Panthers 13 plus. That's what my gut is telling me, and I'll probably be massively wrong. But that is what my gut, and I think it'll just be a masterclass.
I don't mind it. I'll fish it out, and at the end of this podcast, we'll chuck our last ever TAB Game Day Good Punt.
What are we, like 33 from 33 or something? So.
We have been stuck on $334.
Are we still stuck on that?
For 2 months.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Who's picking these?
Or do you want to pick on that?
Well, yeah, I'll pick this last one. Panthers 13 plus. Okay. That should get everything back to normal. So my prediction is the Panthers will win it, although it's going to be an absolute ripper of a game. Manaia will be on a plane to Paris. As well, Di Henwood, he's going to be over at the grand final, and Ben as well.
Yes.
Ben's going to the grand final as well.
Yep.
So those two absolute NRL that's massive fizzers, aren't they? They are going there to watch. Manaia's heading over for the Rugby World Cup. So joining me in commentary will be Tony Lyle, comedian. So we'll be doing that game Sunday night on Sky Sport 9. Make sure you do join us there for what I think will be a Panthers win.
A Panthers pantsing.
Yeah. What we might do here is take a quick break. And when we return, folks, we're going to do a quick awards ceremony for the year. And also, Manaia will have the results of our TAB Game Day Good Punt.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the first annual Mad Monday Warriors Awards for the 2023 season. I thought this year, Keezy, it's been such a monumental year, and often we don't celebrate these moments. We don't celebrate the season that's just been. We just shut it down and move on to the next thing. So with the help of the wider Mad Monday podcast crew, we've put together a list of awards that we'd like to hand out for the Warriors season for 2023. And unlike the actual Warriors organisation, we waited till the season finished to give our awards out.
It's a great pleasure. Can we get that music again? Sorry, it's a great pleasure to be here, Manaia. When I think of the Warriors, 3 words come to mind. Mana.
Cuz.
Heart.
Got it.
Rugby. I was like, why did I say 3 things? I can only think of 2. But I agree, this season has been particular. That's all good with the music, thanks, Evan. But this season in particular, you don't want to be doing commiseration awards. And this is a genuine nod to just a fantastic season, which has reignited and fanned the flames of rugby league fandom in New Zealand. And I dare I say it, thousands more people who originally never watched rugby league will continue to watch because of these boys this season.
That's right. And so to mark that occasion, here are your Warriors Awards from the Mad Monday podcast crew. The off-the-back fence mouthguard for the hardest runner. This is a hotly contested.
Wow, this is, and I haven't heard of it. I haven't seen any of these, so.
Well, you voted for them all, but.
But I don't know what the results are.
Yeah, so without any further ado, the OTBF mouthguard for hardest runner from the Warriors in 2023 goes to Bunty R4.
Well deserved, Bunty R4.
Couldn't find room for him off the bench towards the end of the season, but this is an award about effort. Every time you saw Bunty, there is an image burned into your head of his front teeth, his top teeth, Yeah,
that's
beard
right.
at his opponents as he comes flying off the back fence.
That's right. I mean, Adam Fanua-Blake has been a very, very effective prop for us. However, it's a different style of play, isn't it?
That's right.
The Bunty play.
It's late footwork. No late footwork for Bunty. He has failed his waff because he has no handbrake.
Yep.
And so he's straight up the guts off the back fence. He embodies everything that this award's about. So the mouthguard goes to him, and he will throw it promptly into the front row and then get about his work again. On to the next ad.
Just on Bunty real quick. Hopefully he comes out next year with a flamelet under him and, conditioning is at peak point and he's back in again.
Yeah, I just think that Bunty this season is... he's an impact player off the bench.
Yeah.
He works really well. And it was just the way we were running our bench towards the end of that season. Jazz, Dylan, Bailey Sirinen, and Josh Curran, and just a little bit of... versatility.
Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, you're
right.
So
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Bunty next year. Award number 2. The Mad Traveller Award for Biggest Meter Eater, presented by 4 and 20. They don't know that they're presenting this, but I presume, right? And this is the award for the person who's carved off the most meters for our club this year.
Oh, I hope it's the one I voted for.
And their winner is Chance Nickel Klokstad.
Ah, yes. Smattering of applause there.
Golf claps.
Yeah. Shout out
claps.
to Chance. Every single night, he's always leads the way with his meters. He carries the ball twice in most sets, you know what I mean? He's a freak of nature.
It is out of control. He gets us out of so many sticky situations. Last weekend against the Knights, he ran for 299 metres.
What?
Could we not have just rounded it up? So 299. I mean, he's an absolute monster.
Bonus points also for being a great guy.
And just a talisman for our team as well. But because he doesn't score these ridiculous full field tries or any of that kind of stuff, I feel like the casuals, the fans of other Australian teams, don't really give him the plaudits that he deserves. So that's why we had to today, and that's why we gave him the Mad Traveller Award for Biggest Meter Eater. Now, the next award, this is the RPB Award for the most ruthless Pākehā boy in the team.
Damn.
The nominees were...
What, we got Wade Egan?
Metcalf.
Yep, Metcalf.
Jackson Ford.
Rocco Berry.
Rocco's Modern Life, but there could be only one winner. And the award for the RPB of the year goes to Mitch Barnett.
People losing fizz.
It's been a long night. As you know, award ceremonies, they go on forever.
They do, actually.
They go on for absolutely forever. So,
shout out to Mitch Barnett, though. He's been fair. He's a goal kicker too, isn't he?
No, we talked to him at the start of the year. He has kicked goals for Newcastle, but since he's had his groins operated both sides, and so he's retired the kicking tee, and he will no longer... That's why we didn't see him out there doing it.
That's right, yeah, cool.
But just everything that was asked of him, obviously massive, almost career-ending injury at the start of the season.
That's right. They were saying that's why he's going to retire. It was around his neck and his shoulder. And
and so then to turn around and come back and become not only an instrumental part of the team, but a starting prop in a preliminary final.
And an RPB.
And an RPB.
The RPB, yeah.
The leader of the RPBs, Mitch Barnett. On to the next award. This one's near and dear to my heart. This is the Joel Harrison Memorial Medal for the 2023 Pantsman of the Year.
Oh, El Hombre de las Pantalones.
Yeah. Now, any new listeners of the podcast may not know the notorious Pantsman Joel Harrison. You might see him in the Wags box just hanging out every now and then.
Yeah, so he's quite good friends with Taylor Montoya, Marcelo's partner.
Yeah.
Because they both work at the Hits together.
Very good friends.
Very, very good friends. She's always getting into the corporate boxes and all sorts of setups.
So El Hombres de Pantalones, or whatever you call them.
Sí.
We've named this one after him. The notorious Joel Harrison Memorial Medal for 2023
Sorry,
Pantsman
did he die?
of the Year.
Memorial medal. Doesn't someone have to be dead to get a memorial medal?
Sure. Goes to Rocco Berry.
Yeah, that's better. Fair enough.
Yeah. Now look, this is all allegedly, but apparently our man Rocco
is a pantsman.
Is living a modern life.
Oh wow,
He's living Rocco's modern life.
Damn.
I was going to go to Sean Johnson for fathering children on the sideline, but we had intel. Late scratching.
Yeah.
This was going to have to go to Rocco Berry. So congratulations.
Yeah, shot Rocco Berry, mate. Glad to see you getting amongst it. And I mean, the only time I saw him with the ladies outside of a football, I already told the story. I think it was at the start of the year. Was he was leaving the ground wearing a Warriors jacket, looked pretty innocuous, and some two young girls came up and were like, "Hey Rocco, can we have a photo?" And he was like, "Oh no," they didn't say "Hey Rocco," they said, "Hey, can we take a photo?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then, but what he didn't realize, and they didn't realize, they didn't know he was a Warriors player. they wanted a photo outside Mount Smart, and he was walking past.
Oh.
So they got him to hold the camera.
And he took a photo
of them, and then he walked off.
Jeez, I might revoke the award after that. That's not Pantsman material.
And as I walked past and he was taking a photo, I looked at him and like cracked up laughing, and then he smirked as well. And I was just like, this is ridiculous.
If they only knew. Congratulations to Rocco Berry, 2023 Pantsman of the Year. On to the second last award, the penultimate award. And I know this one's near and dear to your heart, Chris. This is the Keezy Cup Award for most likely to get too steamed on Mad Monday, presented by the Red Fox Tavern.
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to the Red Fox Tavern, Maramarua, for getting behind this one.
Yeah. I heard you were bumming darts down at the Red Fox Tavern on Saturday night.
I was bumming, all right.
I heard a lot about you, actually.
I heard a lot about me as well, actually. It's quite disturbing. They had it on full noise at the Red Fox.
Anyway, so the winner of the Keezy Cup for 2023 is Jazz Tavanga.
Yeah, shout out to Jazz. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was actually a live recording of him at Mad Monday right now. That one just came through. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
No, incredible.
And also, he'd be right at home at the Red Fox, by the way.
Oh,
I could
100%.
see him there,
Yeah, Jazz, he's sort of the energy man for our team, you know.
Thanks for not saying Energizer Bunny. I hate that saying.
He's not an Energizer Bunny, he comes off the bench. But it's just, we need an emotional leader out on the field. Sometimes it can get a little bit flat. Our leaders are inspirational, SJ, Tohu, but we need that spark off the bench, someone to really make us feel it. And unfortunately, I think that's going to lead to him boiling over at Mad Monday. So that's why he's won the Keezy Cup this year.
He can get the red mist at Mad Monday all he wants. Just don't give away penalties. You're all good. Shout out to Jazz.
And the final award, an award that I know is coveted by all Warriors players, past and present, and future. Some future players are really coveting this one. It is the Mad Monday podcast plate for Player of the Year 2023.
This is hotly contested, by the way.
It could really only go to one person, and that is your Dally M halfback of the year, Sean Johnson.
Yeah, shout out to Shawnee. The thing I like about him is, because I was working in sports media in 2013, I started, and so I was quite often, Mount Smart's just up the road from our old office.
Yeah.
I was quite often going to the Warriors every week, part of the media scrum. Sean Johnson would always be up, and it was always him in a shit mood because the Warriors are playing bad, even though he's trying his guts out and blah, blah, blah. And I remember my initial memory of him is like, man, he's a bit of not a diva, but he gets quite sulky and snarky.
Right.
And it wasn't till I realised, like, he went away to the Sharks, and it's just the amount of pressure we lump on this one dude.
100%.
He comes back. I'm thinking, God, do we need Sean Johnson? We've got all these young, talented guys.
You were saying they should retire, right?
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know, maybe. And then he comes back and, like, exceeds expectations. He plays his best footy he's ever played.
Yeah.
It was such a nice sort of complete arc of his story, and hopefully he has one last chapter next year as well. So shout out Sean 100%. Johnson.
Congratulations. Look, he may or may not win the Dally M this year.
Oh, surely, man. Surely.
But I know what means more to him, and that's the Mad Monday podcast plate for Player of the Year. And that will conclude our awards ceremony for 2023. If we missed any awards, we got to be conscious of time. Please do get at us, DM us, the ACC on Instagram.
Or direct message at Manaia Stewart NZ, at Chris Key NZ. Me and Mana would love to hear what you've got to say.
And just finally, before we leave, our last game day good punt for the Mad Monday podcast, Keezy, you've placed it on our behalf to try and get us off this, essentially a donut for the last 2 months.
Shit, yeah. We're going to take that $100 bonus bets. We're going to put it on the Panthers to win 13 plus. How much is that paying?
$375. We put $100 on it. They take it back if it wins. $275 in the kitty. All thanks to Chris Key.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's going to come up or not, but I have a gut feeling. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us all season, folks. We've got Sunday night's grand final. Myself and Tony Lyle will be commentating that one. We will do a debrief podcast as well next week once Di and Ben are back from the grand final, so keep an eye on your potties for then. Otherwise, look, great year, Warriors fans. Bloody good. And this time next year, I'm sure we'll be doing one last podcast, one last game day good punt saying the Warriors to win the grand final 13 plus.
Up the Waz.
Up the Waz.